Hello everyone, I am K. Sadashiva. Welcome to my channel KLR Educators. So I want to make a small note that we have launched a new course on World Modern History for which you will be getting videos on every Sunday. So guys who are watching these videos, I request you to watch those videos so that you can cover your World Modern History syllabus easily. So what are the topics that we are going to cover under the world modern history is given in the index of that videos. So I request you to follow that so that it will be easy for you to cover your world modern history syllabus. So today in our lecture we are going to discuss about the Charter Act of 1813. So in our previous videos we have discussed everything about the Charter Act of 1793, about the Pitt's India Act of 1784. So now we are going to discuss about the Charter Act of 1813. So what are the provisions that were given in the Charter Act of 1813 and what was the implications of this Charter Act. Charter Act of 1813. In the year 1808, a committee was appointed by the British Parliament to validate the monopoly of the East India Company. So the British Parliament has learned many lessons from the American Revolution. So earlier when the British colonies which got permission from the British Parliament to establish their colonies in different parts of the world and to carry out the trade. What these colonies did in America, they got united and they fought against this British Parliament. So the British colonies were fighting against the British Parliament in America. So that is the main reason why the British Parliament wanted to abolish the monopoly that were given to different colonial powers of the British. So now East India Company was also one of the colonial powers of this British government. So they wanted to abolish the monopoly that was given to the East India Company. So in the year 1808, they formed a committee to facilitate this move of the British Parliament. They wanted to completely acquire power from the East India Company. Also, there were many ideological changes in England and India which led to frame some provisions in this act. So not only to abolish the monopoly of the East India Company, there were many changes that were happening in England as well as India, which forced the British Parliament to pass this act. So what were that provisions and what were that reasons why they were forced? We will discuss now. Changes in England. So what were the changes that was happening in England which forced the British Parliament to pass this act? Free traders. They too wanted to trade with India and to facilitate it, it forced the British government to break the monopoly of East India Company and permit them to trade with India. So the free traders were questioning the monopoly that was given by the British Parliament to this East India Company. So why only East India Company? Why can't we? So we too want to trade with India. So these were some of the arguments that were raised by these free traders for which the British government gave permission, and this is one of the reasons why the monopoly of the East India Company was abolished. Some philosophers like Adam Smith through his book Wealth of Nations created awareness among the people. These philosophers played a major role in creating awareness among the people. These philosophers through their books, through their newspapers created awareness among the people and the people started to question the authority of the British Parliament. So now the British Parliament has no other option but to permit these free traders to trade with India. Utilitarians. So who are these utilitarians? So utilitarians are people who believe that maximum happiness should be given to maximum number of people. So their objective was to give maximum happiness to maximum number of people. So how this objective can be accomplished? Supported direct rule by the British Crown and wanted free trade without giving monopoly to any company. So if British government is ruling directly India, so many traders can trade with India. So when maximum number of traders are trading with India, so they are earning a good income. In this way, the maximum people will stay happy because they are earning a good income from trading with India. So in this way, the maximum happiness can be given to maximum number of people instead of giving this kind of happiness only to a particular company. So they asked the British Parliament to stop this favoritism and to abolish this monopoly and to allow many and many traders so that maximum people can trade and maximum happiness can be given to maximum number of people through this objective. So in this way the utilitarians were forcing this British Parliament to give them permission to carry out trading with India. Liberals. Now the British administration task was to civilize rather than to conquer. So now the British government was thinking, why to conquer Indian territories? Rather than conquering, we can civilize them. See, if you educate the Indian people in the way which we want, in future they will work under us in the way which we want. So rather than conquering, if we civilize these people, they will work under us without any obstruction. So in future it will be easy to rule India. So this was one of the reason why the British administration introduced education in India, and they wanted to educate the people of India in the way which they wanted. Evangelicals. So who are these people? They started to spread Christianity by establishing different Christian missionaries. So they were the people who started to spread Christianity by establishing different Christian missionaries. Changes in India. So we have discussed everything about the changes that were happening in England, which forced the British government to pass this act. Now we are going to discuss about the changes that were happening in India. So what were the changes? So East India Company was abolished completely, and now they had monopoly only on tea and trade with China. So the East India monopoly was restricted. See, the monopoly of East India Company was not completely abolished. It was restricted only to tea and trade with China. Diluted monopoly will be extended to 20 more years. So this diluted monopoly will be extended to 20 more years. Means up to 1833, the East Indian monopoly will be only on tea and trade with China. So after 1833, the British government will decide about this monopoly of East India Company. The British subjects were allowed to come and settle in India. So as the British government permitted many British subjects came to India and they started to settle in India. Christian missionaries were allowed to propagate and profess Christianity in India. Education was also developed during this time, as the British government felt that if we educate the Indians on British lines, they would understand the British policies and work under them. So this was the main objective why the British government introduced education in India. So if we educate Indian people in the way which we want, in future they will work under us. So they will understand all the British policies. So they will never obstruct these British policies. They will never reject these British policies. And so they will work under us, and easily we can annex all the territories of India. So because of this, they introduced education in India. To achieve this, a sum of 1 lakh rupee was given by the British government. So to achieve this objective of educating the Indians, the British government, they sanctioned a sum of 1 lakh rupees to educate the people of India. Importance of Charter Act of 1830. So let us see some of the important provisions that were given in this Charter Act of 1830. So due to this act, the British compelled to spend 1 lakh rupees annually for the development of learned natives of India. So because of this act, the British government was spending 1 lakh rupees annually to educate the people of India. First time deeply thought about the improvement of Indian education. Before that, no provision of grants were there. So before this act, there was no kind of any grants that were given by the British government for the welfare of the Indian people. So this was the first time when the British government was thinking about the welfare of the people. Through this act, a national has arisen for the development of national education. Indian people for the first time thought about the importance of education. So the British government was successful in spreading the awareness about the education, the importance of the education, and they were successful in educating the many Indians. So there were some controversies of this Charter Act. So let's discuss that. The Charter Act also paved the way for Anglicist classicist controversy through which the English language has spread all over the India. So there was a controversy that was running between the Anglicist education. Anglicist is nothing but the linguistic education, and also the English education. So this Charter Act paved a way for this controversy between the English education and the vernacular education. Knowledge of science and technology education was developed through the Act. It motivated the learned and qualified section of Indian people to work for Indian education. So it also motivated the people who are already educated to work for the Indian education. Before the introduction of that, the Indian education system was traditional and was imparted through the traditional institutions. So before this act, there was only vernacular education which was present in India. Vernacular education in the sense educating people in the local languages. So after this act, So there was vernacular education as well as the English education. So vernacular education will be for your primary classes, and when you complete your primary schooling, you will be having higher education in English medium. So this was some of the provisions of the Charter Act of 1830. So with this, we are done with our today's session. Hope you understood everything about the Charter Act of 1813, the importance of Charter Act of 1813, why it was passed, and different changes that were happening in England as well as in India. So hope you are making running notes so that it will be useful for you to revise things easily in future. So if you like my video, please give a like, share these videos to your friends who are preparing for many competitive examinations, and subscribe my channel if you haven't subscribed it. So thanks for watching my video. Thank you one and all. Jai Hind.